Weird.
No!
Also, speaking of the source material, many people were asking online, how did we get the license for it? Like, I thought that Disney owned the IP. And yes, Disney has made Snow White movies. They're making their second right now. But they did not make...
Rachel Zegler was nearly broken when it hit her that Brett Cooper is going to give her a tough time on the big screen of Snow White, and the reaction she made is well worth watching because she was already pissed off with the fans of Snow White. Now Brett Cooper, who is a better and respectful version of Snow White, is catching public attention. Rachel is endlessly accusing fans of different bad and profane things. Rachel Zegler's casting as Snow White stirred up a storm of backlash, and if you ask her, that's all rooted in good old-fashioned bigotry. She's not shy about calling it out either, saying that critics of her casting just can't handle the idea of a Colombian actress stepping into the role, but Zegler explains that in the new remake, the name Snow White isn't about appearance at all. Instead, it's tied to her surviving a harsh snowstorm as a baby, but she has completely explained the movie so weirdly.
Not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. But it's one of the things. So it's an inner journey that she goes on to find her true self, and she meets a lot of people along the way that make the journey.
But that's not where the controversy stops. Slur makes it clear that the new Snow White won't be the same lovesick girl waiting around for Prince Charming to sweep her off her feet. Nope, this version of Snow White is all about strength, independence, and standing up for herself. Slur even threw a little shade at the original 1937 Disney prince, calling him a guy who literally stalks Snow White with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird talk about no love lost there. Rachel Zegler's casting as Snow White has sparked more than a fairy tale makeover. It's turned into a heated debate around representation, storytelling, and Disney's direction.
For the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves.
From day one, Zegler's casting faced pushback, with critics claiming that Snow White should remain a character with skin as white as snow. According to Slur, though, that criticism reveals an underlying issue with representation and race in Hollywood, as she's explained her version of Snow White is resilient and resourceful, not defined by her complexion but by her strength. Disney's live-action remake reflects that perspective, reinterpreting the classic tale for modern audiences in this new adaptation. Snow White gets her name from a childhood event, surviving a snowstorm as a baby, symbolizing her inner strength, not her appearance. Now we're witnessing a plot twist. Snow White has competition, and it's making Disney sweat. Enter Brett Cooper, The Daily Wire, and a new adaptation that seems to be riding the wave of discontent aimed at Disney. The Daily Wire, famous for its conservative leanings, is creating its version of the Snow White story aimed at an audience tired of what they see as Disney's agenda-driven storytelling. Cooper's version, titled Snow White and the Evil Queen, promises a classic, faithful take on the Brothers Grimm tale. Fans eager for a return to timeless values have embraced this project as the alternative to Disney's controversial reimagining.
In addition to just announcing Benke, we also announced Benke's first live-action film, which is Snow White and the Evil Queen. And that's me, I'm Snow White, which is so...
When Cooper's Snow White promo photo hit the internet, the reaction was immediate. Cooper's Snow White has the classic look, fair skin, a traditional dress, and an expression of innocence fans associate with the character. Fans quickly pointed out at least Brett Cooper looks like Snow White, throwing shade at Zegler's casting and making it clear which Snow White they felt captured the character best. This reaction speaks volumes about fans' feelings toward the original story and how Disney's changes don't sit right with everyone. The Daily Wire didn't stop with just casting a classic Snow White co-CEO. Jeremy Boring harshly criticized Disney for straying from the original tale, saying Disney has forgotten its roots. Boring didn't hold back, reminding audiences that Snow White was the foundation of Disney's empire. According to Boring, it's disrespectful to the memory of Walt Disney, who saw Snow White as the ideal fairy tale for children in stark contrast to Disney's live-action film. The Daily Wire's version aims to emphasize the timeless values of friendship, kindness, and yes, even romance, that made Snow White a cherished classic.
For president.
I'm launching my campaign.
I am. Why do they look so smug? They both have that look on their face, just like the feminists, like, yeah, we're so much.
Zegler's portrayal isn't exactly what the royal fan base of Snow White wanted. Her candid comments on the original movie's passivity and emphasis on love are outdated. Concepts haven't helped her case. Fans see her interpretation as dismissive of the charm that made Snow White an enduring fairy tale. When Zegler said, "It's not 1937 anymore," she effectively drew a line in the sand, hinting that Disney's new Snow White wouldn't focus on finding true love or rely on the prince for a happy ending. But while Zegler sees it as progress, many fans feel Disney is erasing the romantic, hopeful themes that made Snow White's story enchanting. The decision to sideline the prince wasn't the only controversy Disney has courted. When it was revealed that Snow White's iconic 7 dwarfs would be replaced by a diverse cast of magical elf creatures, fans were baffled. Suddenly the simple, lovable dwarfs from the original story were transformed into mystical beings with no direct tie to the original fairy tale. This change was the final straw for many Disney loyalists, who felt the studio was sacrificing the charm of the original for modernization.
Cartoon was made 85 years ago. It's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for. Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming into her own power before she can come into power over.
On the other side of the spectrum, Brett Cooper's Snow White embraces a different philosophy. Rather than deconstructing the classic tale, Cooper's version leans into the nostalgia of the original story. Cooper even shared a video reacting to fans' excitement, highlighting how the Daily WIES project aims to be propaganda-free. The team behind Snow White and the Evil Queen wants their adaptation to honor the Brothers Grimm tale as authentically as possible. Cooper has addressed fans' questions about the project, emphasizing that this isn't about making a political statement but about staying true to the story's essence. Cooper's history as a YouTuber adds to her appeal to audiences disillusioned with Disney, known for her commentary on social and cultural issues. Cooper brings her fan base along for the ride, positioning herself as a Snow White who resonates with the current cultural climate. In her video, she responded to YouTuber Ryan Cannell's remarks that people just want propaganda-free content. Her response was a breath of fresh air for fans frustrated by Disney's approach, as she assured them this new Snow White wasn't designed to push any agenda, just to tell the story as it was originally intended.
According to them, and according to the writers of Snow White and Disney, women can't even want to be in love anymore. That's some outdated construct. That was back in the 30s when women actually wanted to.
The Daily Wire has made it clear they intend to honor the core values of the Brothers Grimm fairy tale, as Cooper described values like inner beauty, kindness, and the power of friendship that remain at the heart of their Snow White by focusing on these timeless themes. The Daily Wire delivers a direct counter-narrative to Disney's modernized interpretation, and it resonates with fans. Cooper's Snow White, with her long hair and classic look, feels more grounded in the story's historical roots, a deliberate choice to separate this adaptation from Disney's version. And then there's the matter of respect for Walt Disney's legacy. Daily Wire's Jeremy Bourne ING didn't shy away from the significance of Snow White's role in Disney's rise to fame. He pointed out that the success of the original Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs saved Disney from bankruptcy and paved the way for the empire it is today. The film was a massive risk. It ran 400% over budget. Critics called it Disney's folly, and failure would have meant financial ruin, yet it became a box office phenomenon and launched Disney into legendary status. Boring argues that the current Disney remake, with its changes in disregard for traditional values, dishonors the legacy of this monumental achievement. Walt Disney himself once described Snow White as the perfect story because of its charm, romance, and warmth. The Daily Wire seems determined to capture that spirit, preserving what Disney once considered ideal storytelling. In contrast, Zegler's interpretation and Disney's choices to replace traditional elements have left fans wondering if the studio even understands its own heritage.
Now, Disney, have you ever considered that your fairy tales have actually stood the test of time because they are always relevant, because that is what a fairy tale is, because they have timeless, universal values and lessons that any person, regardless of their age, regardless of their generation.
Brett Cooper's involvement has only heightened the intrigue around Snow White and the Evil Queen as a YouTube personality with over 3.6 million subscribers. Cooper brings a unique energy to the role. Her background allows her to engage with fans directly, reassuring them that the story they know and love won't be twisted into something unrecognizable. In fact, Cooper is thrilled to share the screen with characters and elements that stay true to the original Grimm story, reinforcing the timeless message of Snow White's journey. How do you make of these controversies related to the classic Snow White, and are you excited about Disney's release in 2025? And remember to subscribe for every latest update related to what woke is doing to classic films. See you in the next one.